started smiling. Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. This is just my little cheat trick to get people to put their videos on and to get people to smile a little bit in the beginning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to request everyone, if you can, on the Zoom chat right now, can you just type out your name and what's your favorite food?
And
What's your favorite food? Just type out your name and your favorite food. Mangoes, pav bhaji. Ooh, paneer tikka. Watermelon, my God, that's interesting. Pani puri. I feel you can understand a person by the food that they like to eat. Dosa. Wonderful. Pohe, interesting. Lovely. Now that we know that your keyboards are working and that you know how to type, can I also request you to type out quickly what is it that you're doing currently in terms of studies or education? And can you also write down in one sentence one question that you have this evening? It could be about us, about a program. It could be anything that you are trying to understand for yourself with regard to your career or a decision you're trying to make about how to make a choice, about skills, anything. So any one question that you have, it may be related to this evening or it may be something else in general related to your career. Let's have it here and let's see. It'll be interesting, you know, because we always have questions in our own mind, but we don't know what are the questions others have in their mind. So I'm not saying that you're going to have answers, but it's always nice to see the questions that other people also have. So please, just if you can share, what are you doing currently? And one question that you have this evening, either about us or about anything in general about your career. So I'll give a couple of minutes for everyone to put out something. Everybody who's a student or even a parent. I'm sure you're here with something that you want to find out or something that you want to answer. How can we get students to understand the purpose of education? Ma'am, that's a really deep one. Wow. Shaurya passes 12th, HSC Science, Pune. Weber is an architect and educator. Why Let's Enterprise and not NMIMS or Symbiosis? Now that's a question I like. Lovely. Namita. Namita, can you also write a little bit about what you're doing currently? I think you've not written that as yet, yeah. And Namita is a parent. Okay. I want to know the process of becoming a CA. Which courses do we have to do? Hearing for 11th grade science, my question is what encouraged you to break through the traditional barriers of medical and engineering and undergraduate entrepreneurial program? Parent trying to help my daughter make the right decision. Beautiful. Lovely. So I'm going to jump right into it. The question is that, you know, I'm taking up a few thoughts here. What is the meaning of education? Why this and why not this? And what are we trying to do? For us, our focus is helping people to develop an entrepreneurial mindset. Daria, can you give me screen share? Now, the question you're going to have is in your mind, what is entrepreneurial mindset? Anybody has a thought? What is entrepreneurial mindset? Anybody would like to just share what comes to your mind when you think of this word entrepreneurial mindset? You can unmute and you can share.
To set up something or start something on your own that's totally your baby instead of working for someone else.
All right, all right. So that could be one part of it, absolutely. Any other thoughts? Ishani? Yash? Yatharth?
Well, in my view, an entrepreneurial mindset is basically just like a mindset which refers to starting up something which is by yourself and for yourself completely, and it refers to a complete independence which we don't see too much these days.
Right. Complete independence by yourself, for yourself. Okay. Let's have some more thoughts. Arohi, Anuja, Kanchi. Any thoughts? Veer. Veer wants to be a CA. Do you think CAs need to have an entrepreneurial mindset?
Sir, I know about entrepreneur that once I used to watch Shark Tank show. In that, entrepreneurs used to come and ask for equity for their company, 1 or 2%.
Right. Right. Interesting. So interesting thoughts you all have. But let me tell you, what you're describing is an entrepreneur, somebody who sets up their own company. But entrepreneurial mindset is a little different, and I would say beyond that. So today, let's say Jyoti ma'am and Sonal ma'am have taken the initiative to connect with us and to speak to us. They've had 2-3 calls with us to, to find out what we do. And then they've taken this initiative to send this message out and to get you all on this call here today. So do you think that that's entrepreneurial of them?
Yes, like thinking outside the box.
Correct. But they're not started some business of their own as yet.
No.
Right? So very simply put, an entrepreneurial mindset is the mindset that gives me the attitude and the thinking to take initiative, to see that, okay, there's a problem over here. The tap is leaking in the house. It's the mindset that says, oh, the tap is leaking. Oh, I should do something about it. Oh, let me call a plumber. Okay, the plumber is not there. Let me go to the person who lives next door. I know he's a little bit of a handy person and say, you know what, my tap is leaking. Can you help me what to do? So it's the mindset that tells us that here's a problem. I don't know how to solve it, but I'm going to find out how to solve it and I'm going to go solve it. It's the mindset that says that I don't know, but I will learn. It's a mindset that says that I don't have these connections, but I'll build it. It's a mindset that says that I will solve problems in this world. And do you think that only entrepreneurs need to have this mindset?
No.
Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. Every one of us, to be valuable in this world as a citizen, as a member of society, and as a member of the economy, we have to have this ability to solve problems. So a very basic thing is that when we get out there in our career, and either we take a job or we start a business or we become a professional, somebody is going to pay us, right? If you're an entrepreneur, then your client, your customers pay you. If you're working in a company, then the organization pays you. Why do you think somebody is going to pay you somewhere in the future? And I'd love to hear from some of the other youngsters on this call. Swaraj, Atharva.
Work for their thought.
Because they will pay you for your thought.
Yeah, no, because we will work for their thought, like the thought that they have led for us.
You will work for their thought.
Yeah.
So that means you will work for them.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do they expect when you're working for them? How do they know whether they should pay you more, whether they should increase what they pay you? How will they decide that?
If we are the best.
But how will they know if you're the best or not?
Well, if we summarize it, then it could be like they're the thinkers and we're their executors. And the better we execute for them, the better we have our performance and productivity in line. So they
Beautiful.
can get to know if we're actually worth the what we pay.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So two words have come out of here. One is thinking and one is execution, right? But if I have to put it in very simple language, if I'm a person who can get things done, suppose we have to have this webinar and we want to have 50 people. If I'm a person who can make that happen, if we have to construct a bridge, if I'm a person who can make that happen, if we have to go to a community and engage with young people and set up some sort of a learning center, if I'm a person who can make that happen, then I have value. Does that make sense? At the end of the day, anybody is going to pay me if I can deliver a result. So our education, our degree, our certificates, they are nothing but a symbol. I propose, and this is for you to think, I'm not telling you, but I propose, and I would like all of us to think that at the end of the day, the degree that we get and the certificates that we get, they are a symbol. And that symbol is a symbol that makes it easy for the world out there to understand that this person is capable of doing something. Do you agree? Does that make sense? Logic, basic intuitive sense? Yes?
Yes.
No? If anybody
Yes.
disagrees, I would love to hear. So at the end of the day, what matters is not the degree itself. What matters is that what the degree symbolizes, that me, the person, is capable. I'm not saying the degree is not important. The symbol is also very important. But what is more important is that can the person get things done? Can the person understand problems, learn things that they don't know, and get things done? And in today's world of artificial intelligence, today's world of rapid technology, we don't know what careers will be there 5 years from now. Today, now, this is not something strange that I'm telling you. Therefore, we don't know how careers will evolve. But what we do know is that I need to be capable of learning whatever comes and getting things done. So therefore, I would like to share with all of us this small triangle that most of us who are educators understand. Okay, this is called the knowledge, skills, and attitude triangle. And these are three aspects of our learning that we need to make sure that we are going through, that we are experiencing. So let's look at it. What is knowledge? Knowledge is theories, concepts, jargon, facts, figures, descriptions, subjects, content, matter. This is the stuff that we learn, we memorize, and we understand. Hopefully we understand, right? So whether it is theory of marginal utility in economics, or whether it is Newton's laws of motion, whether it is history, there is some knowledge in it, right? And it's very, very important. Then you have another pillar called skills. Okay, so what is skills? Skills are things that I can do. So reading, writing, reasoning, self-understanding, knowing what is important to me, what is not. So therefore I can make a decision. Communication, coding, selling, these are all skills. Things that I can do. Are you able to see the difference between knowledge and skills? It's a very important distinction to understand, because most people I meet, they get confused between skills, qualities, knowledge. And once you understand that, you know how to build your own portfolio. Any questions between knowledge and skills? So let's say I know how to make a video. Is that knowledge or skill?
Skill?
It's skill?
Knowledge. If you know how to make it, you have the knowledge on how to make a video.
Okay.
And if you have the ability to actually, execute the knowledge you have, then it will become a skill.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. So there's some combination happening there, right? I know some things, but I can do some things. right? That's really important. Some people may just know certain things, but may not be good at doing. Okay. And the third element of this puzzle is attitudes. So what is attitude? Attitude is a thinking process. So confidence. To have this ability, in Shark Tank, you hear this word hustle. Now, for the elder generation, hustle is generally not a good word. Yesterday, I was telling my mother that, we want the people who have the hustle in them. She was saying, don't use that word. It's not a good word. But the confidence to show up and put yourself out there, right? That's not a knowledge. That's not a skill. That's an attitude. Commitment is an attitude. Once I've said yes, no matter what, I'll be there. Clarity, being able to prioritize what is truly important and what I'm going to sacrifice. Enthusiasm, the ability to have energy and to energize other people. Being able to cooperate with other people and make things happen as a team. Integrity, being able to sometimes take a tough decision and do what I believe is right, even if it causes me some loss or some pain. That's integrity, right? So our education is really made up of all these three legs or all these three pillars. But the problem is that very often, and I'm not going to blame the system, but very often we as families, as students, we end up focusing on only one thing. What is that one thing? Knowledge. We forget about the skills and the attitudes. But when I speak to people in the industry who are CEOs, who are HR people, who are entrepreneurs, and when we ask them, what is it that you're looking for? How do you decide who are going to be the fast growers? Most of the time, the first thing that they speak about is attitude, not even skill. Because in the industry, they say we hire people for attitude and we train for skill. One of the most important things they're looking for is attitude. People with the right attitude, can-do attitude, the willingness to learn. Then they look for skills and they say, knowledge is something we can train them. You can learn knowledge and knowledge is forever changing. So all three are important, but the problem is that we often forget about skills and attitudes. And that is what, sorry, I'm giving a bit of a bhashan on this, but I feel that this is a very important thing for all of us young people to understand as we are making career choices and education choices out there for ourselves. We at Enterprise feel and believe and promote that while we are in our learning years, in our undergrad years, it's important to bring all these three things together, right? So let's come back to, let me just quickly share what we do at Enterprise, and I'm just going to open up the floor for any thoughts and any questions. I'll try and cover this in a couple of minutes. So we run, our vision at Enterprise is to see a world out there where people can be successful. That means they can achieve abundance while following and being in touch with their own sense of purpose, their own abilities, their own skill sets, their own sense of passion, what excites them, right? Rather than chasing, running a rat race and then feeling a sense of burnout, feeling a sense of frustration. But we want people to be able to find abundance through passion and purpose. And the way we do it is by cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset, this mindset of problem solving through limitless learning. So when I say limitless learning, it means not just learning through one medium. Books is one medium, videos is one medium, meeting people is one medium, traveling is one medium, working on projects is one medium, right? Multiple mediums. Learning should not be limited by medium. In the past, it needed to be, but today, with the possibilities, with technology, with the way the world is moving, we don't need to limit ourselves with one medium. So what we have been doing from the past 5 years, we run a program called the Enterprise India Fellowship, which is a part-time program. This is for people who are already enrolled in college. and it's focused on building an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm just sharing this slide because we have spent this last 5 years working with several cohorts of students on experiential learning modules, and these have come from different backgrounds, different cities, and they have worked uh, on real life projects with industries, right? Based on this, based on this experience of the last 5 years, this year we have launched a program called the Undergraduate Program in Multidisciplinary Entrepreneurial Development. And the idea is to bring these three pillars of education together. One is concepts, tools, knowledge. One is hands-on experiential learning, which is skills. And then this ability to reflect and understand ourselves, to explore and to develop. The basic concept of our program is to flip the way learning happens. So from a current system in most undergrad programs where it is largely classroom based and a little bit of experiential, what we are doing is flipping it to being largely experiential, practical projects and practical learning by doing, backed by the amount of conceptual learning that you need to be able to apply. I'm going to share something. So this is the program that I was speaking to you about. It's called the Undergraduate Program in Multidisciplinary Entrepreneurial, and we call it a working degree because the idea is that by the second year, we will actually be working with entrepreneurs and CEOs on real business problems that they have. We will be working on those problems along with some consultants who have experience to solve problems. Okay, I'll explain this a little bit more as we go because it does require a little explanation. So we are calling it a working degree because second and third year you are working on real life situations on the field, and you are going through your typical academic curriculum while you're working. The truth is, all of us know that the truth is in a typical business program, the academic content is actually not that intense. Most students are able to study in the last 1 month and get good marks. And by last 1 month, when I say, I'm actually exaggerating, it's not even last 1 month, right? Which means that there is a lot of time, excess time available, okay, in our lives in those 3 years. And the idea is to use that time in a much more meaningful manner. So it's a 3-year undergrad program, and the idea is to fast track our career. In those 3 years, by the time we complete those 3 years, the students will have 2 years of work experience in 4 different organizations or projects. And they would have actually developed some professional skills that are actually useful. Things like project management, things like market research, things like basic data analysis, making sense of data, things like designing a marketing campaign. These are skills that are needed by everyone who intends to make a difference in any organization where they work. Okay, so the idea is to fast track your career and come out in these 3 years having used those 3 years to the max. So like I said, by the time you complete those 3 years, the idea is to have 1.5 to 2 years of actual work experience, exposure to 5 to 6 different industries or sectors, right? So that's how you get to explore whether you're interested in cooking or baking or music or manufacturing. You can explore different sectors by working on projects with different companies. Build the professional skills that actually make us people who can deliver results. In this process, gain the confidence and the self-awareness, right? And that's people often are confused about what career decisions to take, which college to go to. And the crux is, how well do I know myself? How much have I explored and understood my own interests and likes and dislikes, right? And that's what gives me that sense of confidence and self-awareness. And finally, the most important thing to us is to really become lifelong learners. That entrepreneurial mindset that says, I'm constantly going to learn and solve problems, because that's what makes us valuable to society. Okay, so that's what we say, that it's a program that is designed to help young people to develop actually we all already have an entrepreneurial mindset, but to nurture it and to cultivate it and to fast track our careers. So what about campus? One of the thoughts that we want to work with is that the city is our school. Why should I be limited to one campus? In a city like Pune, there are areas where there is art, there are areas where there is handicraft, there are companies and industries of every type. There's an electronics market, there's a mechanical market, there are self-help groups. So the way we have designed the program is that the city is your campus, and there will be mini projects, medium-sized projects, and big projects where on a daily basis the students they will come, of course, to our space in Koregaon Park, which is a small space that we have, which will be like our central campus, where we discuss, we debrief, we plan, and then the students move around during the day in different parts of the city, depending on the project, whether it's a research project or a product development project or a sales project. They move around, meet different people, gather data, investigate, and come back. To make it more interesting, we have tied up with a few other spaces which can be used by our students during the day, as and when they need to in projects. So one is our own co-founder Yusuf Hakim has a maker space in Boreali called the Boreali Studio, which will be available to us. The other is, this is our own space, which is an art space run by my mother, who's an artist. And this is a space that is going to be available to our students to explore with art, to work on mechanical projects. Then there is another space that we have with one of our students' parents, who has generously offered to let us use this space, which is an electronics R&D and manufacturing factory in Hadapsar. And he's offered to have a group of our students come there anytime and use the space for meetings and to work on projects. Another space is a factory that we have access to, which is again one of the growing businesses in Pune that we've been working a lot with, called Stahl. And they have 6-axis CNC robots, they have product development, they are building a very innovative line of cookware for the Indian market. So to be able to go and work in their space and interact with them. We have also tied up with MCCIA, which is the Maratha Chambers of Commerce and Industry, which is an industry association. And they have seminar spaces and meeting spaces that we will be booking around the year to use for various events, even for students to have meetings, to discuss. So that's our concept of a smart campus. Very quickly to share with you how the year is structured. So obviously it's 3 years. At the end of it, you will get a BBA degree from the Pune University. The way that we have arranged that is by a collaboration with a Pune-based college, which is in existence from 40 years, that is affiliated to the Pune University. So the students who join this program, they will also be enrolled with this college. And our understanding with the college is that the students don't need to attend the daily lectures. They will learn the curriculum through us, through practical learning. And whatever additional amount of studies and problem solving exercises, etc., will be done by us along with tutors. So the way we've looked at it is that there are these 3 tracks across the 3 years. You will see, can you see these 3 columns? So you see month, and then there is project learning, skills tracks, and BBA subjects. So your BBA subjects are what is typically available in any BBA program. So any BBA degree, you will see these subjects spanning across 3 years. So this is there, but we will not have lectures every single day. We will have experiential learning along with periodic workshops on these topics. And then you will do self-study. So you will do self-study on these. You will have periodic workshops. And wherever you get stuck, we will have tutors who will support you. But it's going to be primarily the content of this you're going to learn through self-study and workshops. Okay, so that's the BBA subjects. We have two additional tracks. That is what actually makes this program different from any other BBA program. So one is the skills tracks, right? Like I spoke about skills. So these are things like written communication, research and analysis, understanding the basics of art and literature, problem solving and critical thinking, marketing campaign design, legal and commercial, data gathering and visualization, digital marketing and CRM, project management, environment, sustainability and governance, and supply chain. Right now, these are based on actual case studies and actual skills where you have to solve problems using these skills. For example, a simple thing like written communication. Trust me, almost in every company, the most important job is the ability to write and express thoughts clearly. In fact, the CEO's job should be reframed as Chief Editing Officer. Written communication is such an important skill, whether it's a WhatsApp message, an email, a brochure like this. Very, very important for all of us. If you have this ability, you are in high demand wherever you go. Okay. Similarly, these are various skills that are necessary for all of us to understand. So that's the skills tracks. And the third track, and the most important track, is our project learning track. So in the first year, there are internal projects. I'm not going to go into the details of all these projects. But there's a traveling project, there is a design thinking project, there is a small mini apprenticeship. So the first year is like a skill up year. We call it the growth year. It's a rapid skilling up year. The second year, if you look at it, there is two projects and there are two apprenticeships and a project. Now, these apprenticeships are mentored apprenticeships, and I'll explain that in a moment. So your third year is really just projects and apprenticeships. And if you look at the fourth year, there will be either two large 6-month projects, apprenticeships, or one big 9 or 10-month project. So by the third year, you're actually out there working. Now, these apprenticeship projects, these are what we call as mentored apprenticeships. So what we have done is we have tied up with about 50 fast growing small and medium businesses in Pune and a few even outside Pune. These businesses are right from like a 5 crore business up to a 1500 crore business. And we are expanding this list. With each of these companies, we have an MOU that they will give us an actual business problem they are facing, right? We are with a bunch of industry professionals. So we create a triangle. On one side, you have an industry. On one side, you have a team of students. Then you have an industry professional. And enterprise and our team will support the students to work with these companies, apply their BBA concepts, and solve problems. Right? That's what these mentored apprenticeships are all about. And that's how you gain that practical experience, entrepreneurial mindset. And by the end of those 3 years, you actually have a resume or a CV that when someone looks at, they know that you have done something real. Right? The rest of the stuff is pointers. You can have a look at the brochure when you get it. And there's a admission process. So let me stop here. And I'm sure that you have some really good questions. And we are happy to kind of have a small interaction. So we are beginning this program on the 7th of August. The admission process is on. We are in round 2 of the admission, which is going to close on the 20th of June. And one very important thing which many people ask us is, what is it that you're looking for in students? What about, how many marks do we need to be eligible? Well, from our perspective, as long as you've completed your 12th, we are okay. We are not that interested in what percentage you got, but we are interested in what we call as urge level, or very simply put, we are interested to know how hungry you are, because we are looking for the hungry ones, and we are looking for families and students who want to work. So if you want to enjoy campus life, then this may not be the program for you, although you will enjoy friendships, bonds, and a different kind of campus life. But if you're willing to work, get out there, push yourself, break some comfort zones, struggle a bit, and acquire real world skills, of course, with the backup of a Pune University BBA degree, then this is the program for you. But we are looking for that hunger, and we have designed a admission process that is there to get a sense of how hungry are you. So we have for those of you who are interested in knowing a little bit more about we have an open day this Thursday at our venue, at our campus, mini campus in Koregaon Park called the Enterprise Space. So you're welcome to be there. Come there between 9:30 in the morning and 1 and join us for a cup of coffee or some Budhani's chips, because Darya's family, they run this brand called Budhani. So we always serve Budhani's chips. So you're welcome to come, meet our team, interact with us, ask us all the difficult questions you want to. We are very transparent. And if you think that this might be something that works for you, we'd love to talk to you more. So that's it from my side. I would love to hear thoughts, comments, questions. And I would also like to invite my colleagues Urmila and Akita and Darya to join me in sharing and answering any of your thoughts. Yes, Yatharth, I can see that you have something running in your mind.
Well, actually, I didn't have any questions as everything was straight on point and clear to understand. So
Wow,
there are absolutely no doubts.
you made my evening. When somebody says that everything was clear, either everything was, you really got everything, or nothing really made sense. It can be one of the extremes.
I actually understood everything.
So can I ask you, what is it that you could relate to?
Well, the thing I could relate to is that in my like friend circle in this times, we have a traditional barrier of your future would be dependent on anything you do in college and stuff like that. And the entrepreneur, the entire enterprise and enterprise media and stuff like that, it actually opened up my view into other opportunities. Like it gives you some type of freedom that you actually want, and the things that you want to do is right, and presentable to you. Like before we had our job, suppose we had to work out on engineering, doctoring, or any other traditional jobs, we had to keep what we our passion as a hobby. But with this entrepreneurial like enterprise coming in, you can use that hobby to not only benefit yourself but also keep yourself dedicated towards what you want. So that's why I'm actually interested in such things.
I don't think I could have said it better than that. Yes, would love to hear from a few more people. What's in your mind right now? Maybe it's not a question, just a thought. That's also fine.
So Aditya, whatever you said, I think I agree to every word in terms of how we need to approach the courses that we do or when we study. It's not the traditional way of approaching and getting a degree. So the ideology that you share is really the future of how we should be approaching whatever course we take up and why. But honestly, I don't know whether the industry today or say the larger organizations look at it that way. So when I've been trying to convince my daughter that you really shouldn't just think about, doing a degree from a particular A or B institute and see the content of the course, I somehow have this feeling that children today are more worried about is college ka placement acha hai ya nahi.
Yeah.
And I have been working with HSBC for 20 years and part of campus placements myself. We go to I'm based in Bombay. We go to JBIMMS and the IIMs for recruiting, and that's the entry point for these kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel sad because I've seen other people. I have also done my MBA from Bombay. It was not from one of these really top premier institutes, but down the line, I don't think I have done I have done much better than them, in fact, in the organization. And so I realize, and when I look at these kids who are, or some batchmates who joined with me from these top institutes, today we are at the same level. So I don't think it's got to do with that. While I may not believe it, but somewhere in the education system puts this in the kids' minds.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. And thanks for saying it. Look, at the end of the day, brand does matter. Right? So a Nike shoes is going to be 10,000 rupees. So brand does matter. But I would also propose that at a bachelor's level, brand does not matter that much. It's your master's brand that really matters. So yes,
Yeah,
if you
that's
get a
also true.
master's, if you get a master's from an IIM, an ISB, a Harvard, of course, and you should. But the bachelor years is what we are concerned about, because they end up actually just being sandwich years which get wasted.
Hmm.
And to get into IIM, the IIM does not care whether you are from Symbiosis or you're from some random institute around the corner. As long as you crack their entrance test, they are very clear. They don't care about anything else. So yes, your master's brand matters, but those 3 years of bachelor's can make a lot more out of it. But also,
Can I
having
say-
said that,
Sorry, sir.
yes, Alex, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, can I just add something to it, that organization brands matters when we're thinking about going into a college or the kind of placement that I'm getting. Every time we think of the names, but what we're also trying to do different at Enterprise is the reason why we get them to do so many projects is because each project adds to their experience and their story. So we encourage students to create their own story. See what happens, there are so many students who are graduating every year from every college. They all have done internships. They all have the same degree or the certificate. Some people, yes, of course, go out, do some volunteering opportunities and stuff. But majorly, the CV looks same for everyone. Through this, what we're trying to do is, yes, you're getting a BBA degree, but the degree is just like a top up. It's just like a bonus. What you are actually getting is your own personal story. And though it feels like a concept and it feels like how, but in the last 5 years, even through a fellowship program, even through 1 year, students have been able to create such stories that they have been able to create jobs in organizations where those jobs did not exist only. So I think at the end of the day, like even for the 40 companies that we're associated with, they have also told us that, and we're releasing a paper also on this, that really the college that they're coming from or the degree that they have are very secondary. And the thing that they judge on in getting a student on board is their story, them being able to ask good questions, the skills they have. So I think that's how the industry is slightly changing. And I'm sure you will know it because you are in the placement space. But this is like straight answer. Just wanted to bring that in.
Yeah. And not just that, I think the reason why I even attended today's session was more because these are the kind of thoughts that we can resonate with after working for so many years. You realize it's not just that degree. In fact, after so many years, you've reached a stage where degrees really don't, kind of inspire you in any way.
Correct.
You really want to speak to the person and understand,
And the truth is a little complex, because while you're right that for companies, that's an easy way to go and get placement. But the other side is also true, that a smart young person who's got a strong experience profile, they can reach out to anybody on LinkedIn. And today, if you get an interesting message from a 21-year-old, that is a well-researched message, I can bet that you will respond to it, because that will immediately stand out from a 500 other resumes that you see. So, I mean, I have a friend, one of our industry partners, Advic Engineering, who's with us, and it's almost 1,000 crore company. And he grew that in the last 20 years from a 1 crore company to a 1,000 crore company. They work with about 150 automotive OEMs around the world. And he told me just last week that I hired 4 MBAs from IIM Indore. And he said, I'm struggling. This is the truth. He said, I'm struggling. And he's telling me that get me some of your 19 and 20-year-olds to work with on some challenging projects. So that is also the truth in the industry. And I see that with almost every other CEO that we speak to. So both truths are there.
True. And I hope this thought changes over generations.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say generations, but I hope it changes in our generation.
I personally feel it will change in the next 3 years. The way the national education policy has been framed and with the clarity with which it's been going after. And I also think that industry is very clear, actually. I think from the industry side, they're very clear. We need to come up with education platforms, models, and we need to come up with enough products to solve the problem. Industry is very clear. They're looking for doers.
Yeah, I wanted to interject here that the industry is now super clear, and that's a great advantage to us. It's the parents and the children now who have to realize that this is what they want. Don't be scared anymore. Just jump at the opportunity. Because parents and children aren't connected to the industry, so you all don't know yet that industry is waiting for, as Aditya is calling them, hungry youngsters rather than degreed youngsters.
Also, may I add to what Urmila and Ankita shared was, um, so in a college, if you go like very practically, like, there'll be only about 5 to 6 or even like 10, 20 companies that will come to you for placements or internship opportunities throughout. Even here, like I just like, we have 40 plus industry partners. But the beautiful part is that by the time you're out, you are ready with a story that you are empowered enough, because we know that's true today that there are lakhs of job opportunities across the globe today. Even I today can apply somewhere in USA today also by sitting, because the technology allows it. So, but still in the mainstream system is not there. But today, because of the system, like we can do that because we have a story to tell and we know how to tell it. So that empowering is more important than just that, which company I go to. So that's what I feel is more important in that line.
And I think Darya's story itself is a case in point. When he was doing the fellowship program with us, he was interested in coffee. And he started building his profile along with another colleague of his. And they started connecting with coffee startups in India. And that's how he landed up connecting to the CEO of a very interesting coffee startup in Bangalore. And then he told them that I want to come and work with you. And those guys said, come. And he went and worked with them for 6 months. After which we, of course, called him back and said, no, we can't let him work with them. But that's the truth, that today you can connect to anybody. And people are looking for young people who are willing to do. And even masters universities, even masters, for a good masters program, there are two types. One are the types who are like the IIMs who only focus on your CAT. But then if you're looking at an Ivy League college or a good college abroad, or one of these new age colleges, they are very clear. What have you done in the last 4-5 years? They want to see your experience profile. They want to see, they want to know what's your vision for yourself. At 22, they expect you to have a vision. And that is what they are looking for. So very quickly, to do a recap for a few people who have just joined, we are an organization called Let's Enterprise. We have been in the experiential education space for the last 5 years. We have launched this year an undergraduate program called the UG MED, which is undergraduate in multidisciplinary entrepreneurial thinking, entrepreneurial development. We are calling this as a category of a working degree, which means in the 3 years of the program, you spend almost 2 years on real life projects and business consulting apprenticeships. And the way the program has been designed is that you get 3 tracks: the typical academic track that you would get in any BBA degree. You get a skills track where you learn real life skills like project management, critical thinking, written communication. And you get a project track which is actually the biggest track, where you're working on real life industry projects and some entrepreneurial projects. And probably the only program that we know of where for a cohort of 30 students, we have 50 industry tie-ups and more than 35 professional mentors tied up. And that's just the beginning. So that's a quick recap of what this program is about. And I think with that, we are kind of out of time. So would request if anybody of you would like to share something, maybe if Jyoti ma'am would wish to also share some of her thoughts, Urmila, it would be wonderful to hear, and then we can probably call it an evening.
Adit, I would really like to thank you first and foremost. I'm really grateful that you shared with all of us what you're doing. And I personally believe deeply in whatever you were talking about, because at the school level, I have been interested in what we call as project-based learning. And I've been trying to push that through schools and through to schools. So I could easily relate to what you're talking about. It was like, taking project-based learning to the next level in higher education, and which is very much required in these days. And like you said, what is important is to learn how to learn. And that is something schools don't teach. And we would really want students to know how to learn. And that is something that project-based learning and your entrepreneurial mindset actually promotes. So thank you very much. And I hope all our friends here today have also gained from your experience and the work that you're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your words will encourage us for a long time.
For me also, I think this topic of entrepreneurial mindset is becoming very important in our country today. And so I think this program comes at the right time. And I'm glad that this was the topic for today's webinar, and that lots of youngsters were here. And Aditya could show the difference between an entrepreneur, kind of a businessman, and an entrepreneurial mindset, which is needed for life. Basically, every part of your life, in the present already and to the future, all the youngsters are going to need an entrepreneurial mindset. So I think this will be very useful for everyone, whether they do business or whether they go for an academic master's, or whether they want to start something of their own, or even a job of their choice in an industry or in a area of their choice, maybe dance or arts or anything. The mindset is going to help everyone become life ready.
And to top it all, we met during the workshop called Educating for Life.
Wow.
That's where I met Daria, Ankita, and Urmila, of course, for the second or third time. But yeah, so it was great having met them at that time and coming to know about all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here this evening and for asking us questions and making us think deeper. And we look forward to connecting further with some of you all. And like I said, on Thursday, we have an open day. So we look forward to meeting some of you in person. So shall we close the meeting then, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, I guess. If there are no other questions.